Need to switch screens first, it's more important. Hello there, and welcome to On the Case. And today I'm on the case again of Steve McRae. So, Steve McRae, you know, he's a lot like Donald Trump, who I actually talked about a few moments ago. In that every time, pretty much everything that he says, you can find him doing the opposite. You know, the thing that he complains about someone else doing, he does the same thing. He doesn't, you know, he's a social media vampire. It's a little term I created where you've got people who can't see their own hypocrisy in the mirror. You know, in the same way vampires can't see their own reflection. You know, so and it's like, you know, Steve's a projectionist. He projects, you know, the things that he does himself, and of course, you know, projection, image, reflection, you know, he can't see his own hypocrisy. And of course, there's the other part, which is, you know, in the same way vampires suck some, you know, people's energy away by, you know, drinking their blood. Steve and his little friends, they do the same thing. The only way that, you know, they feel that they're achieving something is they're trying to demolish someone else. And you know, if you look at his videos, most of the time you'll find that they're attacking someone or for some reason or other. You know, whether it's another video attacking Matt Dillahunty because, you know, he's not interested in talking to Steve about his, you know, his definition of atheism thing. He's dealt with it, he's moved on. But, you know, it's like G-Man. G-Man does exactly the same thing with Matt Dillahunty. Matt Dillahunty demolished his, you know, his slavery argument, and G-Man can't have that. He can't accept that. So, you know, he does the same thing. And, you know, likewise, they've said the same thing about, Bob Thump and Wingnut and, you know, Matt Slick, that group, when they were doing that a few years ago. You know, they accused Matt Dillahunty of the Dillahunty Dodge, which was not going for the straw man they were trying to create for him. You know, that was the Dillahunty Dodge. You know, that's not what I believe. Well, we've got an argument against something you don't believe. Well, no point in talking to you about something I don't believe. But, you know, that's basically the argument there. So, a few days ago, on the 27th, he posted this. I'm not playing with people. I will be from now on reporting any and all people violating terms of service about me in any way. I'm done playing nice. As if he's ever played nice. This includes potential harassment and call-outs for cyberbullying. Well, I'm going to call him out for cyberbullying. That's largely what I'm going to be doing here. And then he's underneath, it's got, if you want your channel terminated, great. Go on, try to impersonate or harass me. I dare you. If you value your channels, I would sincerely think about finding another target to harass. Your choice, fair warning, night. Now, I want to demonstrate the comical hypocrisy of this, because, of course, we know how he has, you know, he's been on a bender about Katie Joy Paulson for 10 months. 10 months. We're coming up to a year now. 2 months' time, it'll be a year. And why has he got such a bender about her? Because she took Kyle's side at first. Because, you know, when the shit hit the fan, when Kyle, you know, unfairly pushed Steve out, you know, basically changed the passwords so Steve couldn't get access. You know, one of the reasons why this happened was because Steve was basically poisoning the label of the non-sequitur show, because there were people who wouldn't go on because of Steve and his behaviour. And then there was, and additionally, he'd say some things about women, and that made people uncomfortable and things like that as well. So, there were several reasons. So what happens is, when Kyle pulls the plug on Steve's, part in the shows, in the channel, Steve understandably got really annoyed about it, because it's supposed to be a 50-50 partnership. Well, he talked to Godless Engineer and Katie and Mr. Atheist and I've forgotten his name now, Godless Engineer's wife, who were members of the show. They were putting on different shows on different days, and he Kyle told them the reason why, and they believed him. And bear in mind that since Steve there's truth in these kind of things, they believed him, understandably. But then what happens is, it transpired that he wasn't telling the complete truth. So when Katie explains why things have happened the way they did, she believed what she was saying at the time. Later on, turns out Kyle's lying as well, and so she then apologizes and tries to explain, okay, well, this is what I believed at first. I now realise he was lying. That's it. I want nothing more to do with it, and we're done. That was her drawing a line under it. But of course, Steve couldn't have that, because as far as he was concerned, anybody who sided with Kyle, and there's I don't have it to hand, but there's, I'll burn that channel to the ground. There's a tweet out there with that. So it's astounding. So but it's amazing that when you look, there is far more information about far more bitching and complaining about Katie than there is for Kyle. Katie didn't push him off the show, didn't push him out the channel, didn't change the passwords. She wasn't in charge of the finances. So it's irrelevant. Why has he got such a bender about that? How much does he talk about Mr. Atheist? How much does he talk about Godless Engineer or his wife? No, it's the woman. Why is that? Kind of makes you wonder. I mean, I made a video some months ago calling him a drama queen, effectively. And here's the picture from it, because I basically went through his videos, and what's the date on this? December 2019. And I went through every one, and basically pretty much every one of these that's got drama on them, he's talking about Katie, largely, or he's saying these people are arseholes, whatever, so this one's a Katie one, Katie written on it. This one I really love. Caffeine Corner. Cyberbullying, valid criticism doesn't hide in shadow, and the comments are disabled, which just, I love. Every single time I see that, it makes me chuckle. David Silverman, there you go. Well, that's a drama one. Not Katie drama, but a different drama. Flat Earth stuff, because who cares about that? I really don't understand, unless there are people in power trying to, assert that the world is flat. I don't understand the point of, arguing against idiots who think the world is flat. Just seems to be a waste of time. But honestly, you go through it, and pretty much all of them, there we go, look, see? Then you got the Lily Jean thing. Why did that happen? Because there was some, because Katie Paulson had talked about it, and so he needed to get on the side of the person she disagreed with in that case. The I won, he didn't win. He just got a default judgment with requirements for Kyle. Moving on up and out. Well, no, he's not done any of that, including a couple of weeks ago when there was the, you know, he and Cheshire were like, okay, we're not going to talk about them anymore, not going to deal with them, not talk about them, not do anything, and here they are doing it all over again. So obviously they couldn't keep that one. So there's you know, Katie Paulson again, you know, Matt Dillahunty, you know, and there was more stuff about Katie in that one. Surprisingly, a rum and coke, they didn't have bitching about things, but you know, something that wasn't actually drama based. That was amazing. So yeah, all of these are just bitching. I mean, this is, I think it was 6 months worth, and you know, I mean, how about this? You know, Sarah McCall and Anti-Ordinary, two people who have ditched Steve not long after this. You know, I mean, more recently, we've got the videos where Steve said he doesn't share private messages, but there he is sharing Kyle's emails. So, and you can see how, you know, there was a bit of drama here and there, but it kind of, you know, it wasn't as bad, because this is stuff before, you know, the stuff that went down. This answer here, SJ Thompson and Red's Rhetoric, and I talk about why I am so controversial on the internet, on YouTube. It's because you're a cunt, Steve. Sorry, I don't use the C word very much, but you know, if there's any person to refer to as one, you're one of them. But you know, like I say, you can see how there weren't as many dramas. And remember, I made this in December, so you can see there's a bit of drama here and there, but you can see there's a lot more not drama stuff in between them. You know, so all these bits and bobs here, you can see the drama gets more drama. And I think it was something like, you know, I think it was like 60% drama at first, then it went up to about 78%, I think it was. And it's like, wow. You know, it's just, it got worse and worse. I mean, look at this. 2 episodes in a month weren't drama, but all the rest were. More drama, more drama. Oh, drama. You know. And that's Steve for you. You know, all about the drama. So yeah, it just baffles me, you know, how much drama he goes into. And like I say, this thing about people impersonating him, or you know, or potential harassment. Well, calling him out on his behaviour isn't harassment, because you know, this is what happens. I mean, let's not forget, when you're a what was it, a personality, I think it was an internet personality, which is what Steve seems to think he is these days, it comes with people calling you out for stuff. And you can see, when you look, Steve has replaced the old guard, the people who have been on YouTube for ages. You know, the people that have been in the Great Debate community long before he even turned up to create his little G+ Great Debate community club of his. And a bunch of us realised eventually that this guy's never going to change, therefore we're out of here. There's no point in wasting our time, because he's never going to change. You know, he's never going to change his attitude. And really it came down to kicking Nate Brodie out of the Great Debate community G+ group he created. That was the last straw for most people. You know, I kind of ditched him, you know, 6 months before, when he, you know, basically got butthurt when my friend Hilary Pugh at the time, she called him out for being a sexist pig, and then went private to continue to call him out as a sexist pig. And Steve was so upset about this that he screwed, you know, he nearly made a video that night, a live stream that night, you know, Hilary Pugh, social justice warrior, but in the end he decided he wasn't going to do that. He decided that he would just have a video in the middle of the week, because Tuesday was Talking Shit Tuesday, and Fiona Robertson had a video planned for that on the Thursday, because one of the things that had kept happening on Hangouts was that there would be a discussion about rape and abortion, and usually it was a hangout full of guys making decisions, you know, trying to make make arguments about something that they'll never have to face. They'll never have to face the idea of bringing up, you know, a rapist baby, or giving birth to a rapist baby, looking into the eyes of the of the baby and seeing the rapist in there, you know, in the eyes, or the features, you know, having to you know, carry this child. What happens, you know, if you live in a state where they say no, you're not allowed abortions? You know, one of the things that's happening right now, thanks to the COVID-19 stuff, they've limited the amount of time that they can be open. So all those sorts of things that are going on. You know, what about if someone was in Northern Ireland, which until recently weren't even allowing it, unless the mother's life was in jeopardy? So those are the kind of topics that come out. And of course, what, you know, I remember seeing Steve on one of those videos, in one of those hangouts, and what was the position he took? He took the, well, what happened if a guy gets falsely accused, and they'd have a discussion about that. So, you know, and you know, and of course, he spent a fair amount of time defending the guy that was falsely accused. And of course, next thing we know, several months later, you know, 2 years later nearly, we've got him platforming a rapist, a convicted, in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. He's there, you know, defending a rapist, by saying he's an honourable man, and, you know, I don't believe the rape happened, you know. So that's the kind of stuff. But again, he has a bender about Katie Joy Paulson, an absolute, just, you know, foaming at the mouth, you know, salivating, you know, just attacking her every day. Every day. We can go and look at his Twitter. I mean, let's just have a look right here. So this is the one that I'm commenting about here. Okay, this one here and the one below. Okay, now let's just go up. Let me just take a drink. Okay, so, oh sorry, that's the top of it, it's this one. Okay, so here, and you can see, look, there's quite a lot of tweets that have been made already since this one was posted. Okay, so I'm not playing with people. I will be reporting any and all people violating terms of service about me in any way. I'm done playing nice. This includes potential harassment, and I love this, potential harassment and call-outs for cyberbullying. So, oh, and there's the bit next to it. Okay, so next thing, here he is going on about Katie Joy Paulson. You know, and is this someone's actual one, or is this someone who's impersonating her? One of his friends, you know, like Without Orchestral Balls, you know, that one. Account that was purely designed to attack someone, to attack Katie Joy. And of course, what is this? Is this her kid? Is he still going on about her kid? You know, So, oh, there's something not talking about there. Is this the person he's saying? False flagging. They have one day to provide a shred of evidence that I have false flagged anyone ever. I want to see these idiotically stupid allegations that people spew without any evidence to back them. You know, funnily enough, there are times when Steve makes assertions without any evidence to support them. So, yeah, so he's going to have a go at Unirock because, of course, what did Unirock do? Well, poor Unirock, what he did was he believed Steve and his lies, and then he committed the ultimate sin against King Steve, and that was to go and ask Katie her side of the story, and other people their side of the story. And suddenly it's like, ah, yeah, Steve's a dick. Now, unfortunately, Unirock doesn't always have all the information, so when he makes certain claims which aren't correct, so yeah, I don't know about that one. Let's have a look. No. Yes, Steve's been sitting in his I don't know if you can call that a garden, you know, an overgrown area, and he's lying on the pavement on the towel. That must be, you know, going out. Anyway, alcohol distorts time perceptions. Yeah. Don't know about that one. Oh look, here we go. Katie Joy Paulson again. She started in a Facebook group for parents of sick kids, then blogging. She scammed the Facebook groups out of money and gifts as well. How do you do that? But of course, let's not forget that Steve has shared private information on the blog. Let me just move that out of the way while I just find it, because there's a video. Sorry, excuse me. There's a I really should organise these a bit better, because there's one where he says that private messages. Oh gosh, yeah. Here's this one, my favourite one, my favourite title in this video. Caffeine Corner, cyberbullying. Valid criticism doesn't hide in shadow. Comments disabled. Just awesome. There we go. So you know, and this is one that I created, where I basically joined them together, because it's like, okay, so he's got a video entitled cyberbullying, and here he is bullying Katie with Katie Paulson engineer written in his as his description, and he's, you know, he's one of his close friends. She's one of his buddies who created this for 100% for just to attack Katie Paulson. You know, and it's like, how does she help to cover up fraud? She's not the bank manager for the Non Sequitur show. You know, she's not the treasurer. But there we go. Private videos. So basically, what happened was he went to a teen mum group on Facebook, became a moderator. I mean, when has he ever been a mum, let alone a teen mum? So he managed to get in there, become a moderator, just so he could find dirt on Katie Joy Paulson. It's like, what? You know, it's scary, the hypocrisy there. You know, doesn't he understand that, you know, the word private Facebook pages not private to people? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You can't get into them unless you, you know, unless you're a part of that private group. I'm a member of several private groups on model railways on Facebook channels, you know, on Facebook groups, and that's the whole point. They are private. So this idea that you know, no lines have been crossed because he was just trying to excuse himself sharing private messages from a private Facebook group. But anyway, so you know, look at him here. Someone's made a claim. He's now trying to say, you know, Unirock, how dare, you know, he say something against Steve. Steve McRae retweeting someone else's video about Katie Joy Paulson. Cult of atheism, that's just weird, but you know, that's all merely, you know, Cult of Steve is probably more like him. So okay, fair enough, he's publicising he's going to be on someone's show. Not sure what that is. Yes, you know, she can do what she wants, but you won't let her do it. Okay. You know, because it's, I'm to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Steve said no, don't do it, just don't give them the time of day. So, oh look, here we go. Katie Joy Paulson again, false flagging to get someone's personal information. Yeah, you know, of course, Hans demonstrated it was her that did it. Here we go. He's retweeting someone whose only purpose for creating this channel is to attack one person, and you know, we only have to look at things like that. So, you know, always attacking, you know. And there again, same thing. Don't know who this is. Who are they talking about here? Okay. And of course, you know, just something to point out here. This was something from May. I seem to need a checklist for people I block. If you're blocked, I won't watch your videos, although he seems to watch Nate Brody's, strangely. I won't respond to your comments on any platform. Yeah. I think, hasn't he got Katie blocked? So, but he does look at her comments on every platform. I'll remove you remove you from and all platforms on your main and sock accounts you have made. You're effectively dead to me. Well, isn't it amazing how, for someone who he thinks is dead to him, how much he talks about them? But anyway, so Mr. Atheist, I'm guessing that's Mr. Atheist, I don't know. Oh no, it's that guy. So yeah, you know, but he's with David Silverman. Okay, here we go. Katie Joy again. Steve McRae's retweeting. You know, someone else talking about what's this? No idea what that's about. I've known about Jason prior to he was always Lila, but okay, I think that's yeah. Retweeting again, talking about Katie, talking about Katie, talking about Katie, Katie, you know, talking about the person who only ever talks about Katie, Katie. That's probably Katie again. Yep, talking about Katie, or retweeting someone talking about Katie. Yeah, more Katie. Yeah. Oh, here he is getting pissy against Matt Dillahunty again, because he really is pissed off that Matt Dillahunty and Aaron Ra blocked him on Twitter. So more Katie, more Katie, more Katie, more Katie. Oh wait a minute, no, not that. Maybe that one isn't. I don't even know. Let's have a look. Yeah, more Katie. And then his pinned tweet, which is about Katie again. So, you know, it just, you know, this is the person who said, was it that one? There you go. You know, he's against cyberbullying and harassment as long as it's not Katie, as long as it's with the exception of Katie, who will harass and, you know, things like that. There was also recent doxing as well on his little what's it, Facebook group, because I don't know if it'll work because with an incognito. No, it won't. Okay, just have to use my regular one then. Been looking for fonts for some model railway stuff. So I'm in a number of model railway groups, as you can see, but where is it? There was a new one that was a new group that was created recently, which was you know, something like without a freaking clue. But let's see if it's there. Yeah, it's annoying. I can't see it, but I do know that there was a recent. In fact, let's have a look. Let's try. Yeah, I don't know where the link is for it, but it's around somewhere, you know. But it's the same story. It's Steve will, you know, attack her, and of course, you know, he'll also lie about a certain situation. For example, he lied about me when he said that I attacked his daughter, and I didn't. I gave examples of him using his daughter. That was me in a little going around in circles. I've got one around. It's around here somewhere. Yeah, it's. I do find it funny, because you know, this is one that Steve retweeted. I seem to remember, and you know, it's like, this is the internet and all. Twitter is not a safe place to be if you can't handle people talking about you when you're a public figure. Learn how to type, Stuart. That's RE on the end. Now, the comedy gold about this is that what is Steve now doing? Saying if you can't handle people, you know, he can't handle people talking about him. But oh yeah, this was you know, it's like I was using the name CliffJumper24 at the time. It's now changed, which is why this is different. But you know, you should change your handle then, as it's been used as shorthand for CliffJumper24, because it was Cliff. And I said, there's no point in calling me Cliff anymore because that's not my name. Why not just call me Laura? It's the same 5 characters. So it's like, it is very confusing. Really, it's very confusing to have @CliffJumper24 and someone called with Laura written there. You know, I mean, crikey, it wasn't that difficult. Makes no difference to me, Cliff or Laura. Same dishonest drama smear merchant anyway. Because this smear merchant thing that he says, you know, troll and smear merchant is people calling me out for my actions. That's what it means. You know, calling me out for my behaviour equals troll stroke smear merchant. People who have the goods on him. Troll stroke smear merchant. What was this one? Oh yeah. Yeah. She's quite a horrible person, you know. The Trash Goblin, Cheshire. If you watch, she rubs her hands with glee about drama. Honestly, she just loves drama. You can see her eyes light up when she thinks she's got something on a live stream. It's quite bizarre. You know, and it's like, geez, you know, is it just me, or is Laura complaining that Steve said he wouldn't be interested in her? This was the response to me pointing out that, you know, that he basically used my trans status against me. This is one of the bits that went behind it. This was like, you know, a matter of a day or something after he where is it? This one. That was the reply to this. So I basically just said, yeah, Steve has lied all you know, in all sorts of things, and Steve's response is drama. And then he goes, get over it, Laura, you're clearly just fixated on me. I don't think of you that way, and will never date you. Sorry, you're not my type. You will just have to stop obsessing about me. No means no. I mean, that's just bizarre. You know, I didn't say anything about me being trans at all. I just said what, you know, what was there. And sorry, by the way, thank you everyone for leaving comments in the side. You know, I'm sort of concentrating on what I'm saying here, but you know, yeah. Thanks for the comments and things. And hello everybody. So you know, and it's like, you know, it's just Steve's way. This whole thing here is Steve's way, because remember, he'd already blocked me. He had me blocked, and yet he then replied, you know, unblocked me so he could reply that. And all he wanted to do was just dismiss me. That was all it was, just trying to dismiss me. And this was September. You can see there's the date at the bottom. And, you know, it's like, you know, rather than deal with what I was saying, it's like, you're just a smear merchant, that kind of thing. And then, you know, you're just obsessed. Again, another way of just dismissing everything I was saying. And the point I was saying is that, because it was Nick Suter who said that he's never heard of Steve lie at all, ever. And I said, well, how about the lie when he says that we, meaning him and Red's rhetoric, left the likes of, you know, the largely TST people, but, you know, Drag, Sam, me, Fiona, you know, Kevin and Jackie, you know, basically a bunch of people that realise, you know what, we're sick of his shit now, we're out of here, and so left his G+ group. Instead, he's tried to paint it as if he left us. No, that is not true. You know, because, as I said, we left him. It's like, yeah, we're not interested anymore, that's it, we're done, fed up, you know, sick of this guy. And, you know, it is the equivalent of the boyfriend who's been ditched saying, no, I left her. You know, it's, or the person who just got fired saying, You can't fire me because I quit. You know, it's hilarious. But like I say, this is what he's trying to do here. It's like trying to use me being transgendered to say that I'm sexually obsessed with him. How bizarre. You know, it's just weird. And of course, you know, oh, I used that, by the way, in one of my videos, which was Steve McRae Drama Magnet, and it just has that as the thumbnail. Yeah, people need to realise that the insults and off-the-cuff comments, transphobia, for fuck's sake, I try to see transphobia in everything, even common insults. This is the type of environment that I think harms the LGBTQ plus community by taking everything as phobia. I don't remember exactly what that was about. It might have been about the same time. Let's have a look. This was on the 16th of December that I recorded that. No, that was a couple of months before. It was about the same-ish time, October the 22nd. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But, yeah. Oh, gosh. The comedy gold of Steve, you know, being so upset, being triggered by them calling him boomer. Needed a drink there. You know, now the funny thing about it is, this is exactly what he does. Think about what you know, the picture from before, where you know, he used my transgender status against me, just to try and dismiss me. Oh, you're just obsessed, because that's all he was saying. You're obsessed with me, and tried to turn it into a sexual thing. You know, unprovoked. You know, didn't say anything about being trans at all. In fact, the first person that did was Steve, and then Cheshire trying to say I was, what was it, transgender trending or whatever, trans trending. You know, trying to catch him out. You know, well, no, plenty to catch him out on. Don't need that. But again, like I say, you know, your attempt to use a slur of an ageist pejorative merely solidifies the fact that you, solidifies you have no actual argument here. It's exactly what Steve does. Steve has done exactly the same, tried the same thing to me, but complains when someone else does it to him. Again, love the hypocrisy. Yeah, that's funny. And then there was the where was it? And then there was this one, of course. You know, now I keep harping on about me, but the whole point I have of this is he doesn't care what tactic he needs to use to just dismiss something. He will use, you know, rape apologetics to justify you know, his reason for you know, it's not even a reason for having the rapist on his channel, because, you know, okay, he has a rapist on his channel, the guy served his time, okay. Now at the time we didn't know that he also had an indictment that he'd attacked his children as well, or at least one of his children, one of his daughters. But you know, when we go back in time to when it happened, his reaction was to remove comments and things like that in order to protect himself. And then he had to, you know, devolve into rape apologetics to defend the guy, rather than, you know, accept that, oh gosh, I didn't realise. Because the whole rape apologetics argument came about because Steve has a guy in his channel for this police auditing thing. Members of the police auditing community that know his record, they tried warning him in the live chat, and Steve removed and blocked and hid and timed out and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and had his buddies do the same for him, his mods. So, you know, I sorry, I've just seen some in the side chat. Okay, so so what happens is, when fellow police auditors who know his record, they go post messages, and Steve has, removes them, deletes them, and then deletes comments afterwards, showing the evidence. Because of course Steve and Cheshire like say, someone makes some things like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence, Katie, or whatever? And they don't provide any of their own when they make an assertion. But when so Steve's couldn't accept the idea that it's not about him having the it's not about having the convicted rapist on his channel to talk about police auditing. It's about his reaction to it, deleting comments, and so on. And then, in order to justify his reasons for doing such things, he then devolves into rape apologetics. The first rape, from what I remember, I believe, he was something like 20, 23, something like that. And no, I think it was 27. I can't remember now. But either way, she was 17 and he was much older. And Steve had claimed it was a Romeo and Juliet case. And then the second one, which was the much more violent one, they were the same age. I believe they were 24 or something. So what happens is, it was consensual. Well, I don't know about all of you, but consensual sex usually doesn't involve the guy in a man-woman thing, sexual encounter. It usually doesn't end up with this guy who she doesn't know, pretends to be a cop with a Kojak light on his car, who then arrests her, sticks her in flexi cuffs, drives her to a parking lot and rapes her with a gun, including sticking the gun up her vagina. Funny thing is, I don't know about other people. I mean, I'm sure there's a porn for that somewhere, because there is for pretty much everything else. But this isn't a normal thing that people do when in a consensual situation with someone they've never met before. And of course, at one point, he even tried to pull shade on the police detective, also the chief of police, who arrested the guy and oversaw the situation. The prosecution and everything as well. So yeah, but so for this picture that I'm sharing now, this is the one where Katie posted something on Twitter saying that during shows and things like that he made her, he said sexual things that made her feel uncomfortable, and I posted under that tweet a picture of the one I did a little while ago, the one the vomit face, is sort of using my transgender status against me to just dismiss me by basically like no means no, which almost makes it sound like I'm trying to rape him kind of stuff, which is something that came out by Redline, tried to use the same kind of use that tactic first, no means no, making it sound like you've emotionally raped me kind of stuff. I mean, this is the kind of thing that Jason Burns used to put out before, you've intellectually raped me or something like that. So what happens is she makes a video saying that Steve sexually assaulted these women, and mention Exiled and Fiona, I think it was, but also me. And Steve posted this. This is Fiona and Laura. Well, that's not me. That's not me at all. And of course, if we nip to that's the incognito one. It's the only way I can look at stupid stuff. So if we go to Twitter and we go to profile, there's my profile with my YouTube channel. If we click on that, it'll open up. But there I am. That's who I am now. In fact, that's who I was last summer. In fact, look, almost, you know, a week and a half ago, last year. But you know, so yeah, that's me a week ago. Sorry, a year ago, and I'd already been living like this. May, that was, you know, several months beforehand. I came out publicly to everybody on my YouTube channel live, and then the following day I did it on my old, I've got a second account for model railway stuff, and you know, someone said some very nice things. You know, it's like basically, you know, am I wearing something too short for me is basically what I was asking. You know, am I dressing up, am I basically mutton dressed as lamb is the phrase, you know, that gets used. Am I dressing too young for me? And you know, I had a lot of very nice comments on it. So you know, the reason this is pinned is because it says here, people say Twitter is so toxic. Personally, I've had a lot of positive encounters. Look at this thread, see how much love there is in there. It just goes to show that Twitter is what you make it. Thanks to everybody who's been supporting me. So, you know, it's just been really nice what I've had there. Now, if we go to my YouTube channel, you can see there's mine now. And if we look, we've got this stuff. We've got unlisted video, which is one of my favourite videos, which is why I've kept a copy of it. And it's basically where I exposed Richard Raspberry live in his lies, and it was a really, really cool moment, because I'm going off on a tangent here, but one of the things that would often happen in a hangout is someone would make a claim that you know, you lied about something, and like, well, where's your proof? And so you end up having to go and find it. You know, if something happened 4 months ago, you eventually find the video, find the bit, you stick it under the video, but no one watches it because I've already watched that video. There's no point in going back and watching it. And that's the reason why G Plus was so useful, because you could then say, ah, well, here's the bit I was talking about. But of course, the person who was telling the lies, or the person you were exposing for their lies, they wouldn't see it because they weren't a part of the club. They weren't part of the Great Debate community, or for that matter, it was just on G Plus at the time. You just put your own stuff on your own timeline. But either way, here we are. You know, talking about. Here I am talking about. You know, that was the last time. It was the same day, but that was me introducing myself. You know, this was the video of what they called them, Darwin's deity. You know, Darth Dawkins. You know, they hated me. Wow, they spent all day talking about me the day after I came out. It's like, wow, really? And you know, some other bits, but you know, because I do cycling stuff as well. But I actually had Cheshire trying to suggest that that I was faking being trans just to catch Steve out. Now, bear in mind that this is a TV slot on the local news on a night with a demonstration. Let me just turn my volume off because.
And Pedal Power, the protest over lack of cyclist
Look, there I am. There's me.
lanes in Manchester. Now, more than 80 cyclists held a protest this evening on one of Manchester's busiest roads because of a row over cycle lanes. Great Ancoats Street is to be turned into what is being called a European-style boulevard with new trees and pedestrian crossings, but it will mean removing a cycling lane with new routes created on side streets instead. Ulysses Muller reports.
Around 80 cyclists this evening on a Go Slow protest. They feel ignored in favour of motorists by a plan that removes a cycle lane from Great Ancoats Street in Manchester.
There are businesses on there, there are homes on there, there are work.
There you go, you can see me in the background again.
Workplaces on there. So if you don't have safe approaches by bicycle, you're basically telling those people who work and live and trade in those places that they can't ride to those locations.
The council wants to extend the city centre by creating what they're calling a European-style boulevard.
A European-style boulevard with trees and planters and nice spaces for people to live has cyclists. It doesn't remove cyclists onto a back road where there's narrow provision and twists and turns and junctions.
Great Ancoats Street is one of the busiest in the city centre, with around 37,000 journeys made in a typical weekday. Around 15,000 people also use its pedestrian crossings every 12 hours. And that makes this stretch one of the most dangerous in the city.
We want to be able to attract more people to walk and cycle. That's not an attractive route. You're going to be competing with cars. Therefore, we want to put the cyclists and pedestrians right at the heart of the two schemes that we've got just next to this busy road for cars.
The funding for one cycle route has been approved. The second could get the go-ahead on Friday.
They have previously committed to ensuring that cycling and walking provision is built into the core of every new redesign and every design plan for new infrastructure, and this just flies in the face of that.
Promises these cyclists say of what they may get cannot replace what they will lose. Ulysses Muller, BBC Northwest Tonight, Manchester.
So you can see there I am publicly. Now I've got another one. Let's see if I can find it. So TFGM, Transport for Greater Manchester, cycling. Let's see if this hits anything. There we go, there's one. Let's download it. Open that.
I use cycling for just getting around. It's better than walking. I get places quicker. I get more things done. I can carry things in the basket. So it's an extension to myself. I also have acrophobia, so I don't really like going out very much. And if I'm concentrating on the road and the traffic, I'm not thinking about other things that worry me. Without a bike, I would hardly go out at all. Basically, I can get somewhere and it's got a built-in gym. Always a useful thing.
And that's great. That's great at Manchester's public transport, executive. So yeah, really gonna fake. Where is it? There it is. So I'm really going to fake it. I apologise if that's a bit loud. Not much I can do. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, there will be an echo because I've got to turn off my audio. So it basically reverberated. Apologies for that. So so what happened in this case was Katie says that these women, I was on the list, have been sexually harassed by Steve. And I was on the list, and so he posted a picture of me as a guy. This is Fiona and Laura. Well, that's not Laura. Laura doesn't look like that. Might have been the same body, but certainly not the person I'm demonstrated. Certainly wasn't my name. My name was never Cliff, or Cliff Jumper for that matter. That was just a username. But Laura is my real legal name. So even, you know, that's a picture of Cliff. Well, it's not even a picture of Cliff. That's a picture of formerly called Dave. So so yeah, the women Katie Joy thinks sexually harassed. I think the women Katie Joy thinks I sexually harassed, even though I know damn well neither of them ever told her anything of the sort. They are vile people, but even they wouldn't go that fucking ridiculous. Katie Joy clearly has no clue who they are. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean here, but holy shit, let me just zoom that in at the bottom. See that a bit better. There you go. Yeah, I mean, not been trying to be mean here, really, but holy shit, there's more chance of me sexually harassing my mum than me ever those two people. You have no idea how much I abominate them both. Both of them would be sickened to even suggest I sexually harassed either of them. Well, that original video, sorry, that original picture, where is it? Trying to find it again. There. You know, that can be classed as sexual harassment, using my gender status, you know, to try and make some kind of sexual reference, that as if I want to have sex with him or date him or something. You know, it's like, what? You know, where the hell did that come from? And of course, you know, for those who don't know, I'm asexual. I'm not interested in dating anybody. You know, so it's like, yeah, because I'm trans, I suddenly want to start dating guys? Well, you know, perhaps if Steve knew something, or maybe he does, he just wanted to be a dick. A lot of trans women, when they transition, so when they were living as guys, they fancied women. Because your sexual interest, your sexual preference, has no relation to what gender you're projecting yourself as. They're two different things. It's apples and pears. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people, they conflate the idea of sex, having the act of having sex, with sexuality. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that can happen. So, because I'm transgendered, I want to start dating guys. Well, you know, that's certainly not true in my case, because I'm not interested in dating anybody. If I end up with a partner, it's because we're friends. You know, having a sexual relationship would not be something that's relevant to it. But, you know, different matter. You know, it's one of the things that can happen when you're asexual. But anyway, so, you know, but like I say, deliberately using, you know, I mean, would he have said something like that if I was a guy? You know, the day after, of course, he posted, the day after I started, you know, saying, yeah, Steve has lied. You know, when he says, we left them, the reality is, when he says I left them, the reality is that it was us that left him, us that left Steve, not the other way around. So, like I say, it's just creepy, using my sex, gender status against me to just try and shut me up. That could be classed as sexual harassment. So, like I say, when he posts this, you know, it's like, yeah, that's just extremely arsehole of him to do it. You know, and so his excuse was, Fiona is not attracted. I've never seen Laura as anything other than what I posted. She said she has transitioned, but I do not associate with her, nor have seen her transitioned that I recall. I wouldn't know what she looks like now, so used a photo of how I know her. Now, later on, and I know where it is. Let me just see. Let me find it because I do have a timestamp. Okay. Okay, so this is my video. So Steve came up with excuses of, you know, that's how I knew her, and it's the only picture I've got of her. So I picture of her as a guy. That was his excuse. Now, listen to this, and consider the contradiction. So let me just turn my audio off for a moment. My microphone off.
Oh, I hope they're friends.
It's the only photo.
I hope they're besties.
I've never seen a photo of her after transitioning until a couple weeks ago.
So, a couple of weeks ago, he knew. A couple of weeks ago, he knew what I looked like. Isn't it funny? Learning with Siri, don't worry. They're not getting to me. I'm exposing the lies. You know, it's basically, you know, I'm not angry at them. I'm, you know, I suppose I'm that transphobes use are the same tactics Steve will use if he hates you enough. So if you're gay and he hates you, he could use homophobia on you. You know? So, yeah, anything will do.
And the other names I want to mention, Laura is on Twitter at Cliffjumper. That's how I knew Laura as Cliffjumper. I only found she was trans not too long ago. I've never seen her after the transitioning. I only have an old photograph of her that I use. This is one of the reasons I got flagged on my Twitter.
They flag you.
I have never seen her since her transition. I don't know what she looks like. I wouldn't recognize her if my life depended on it. I want nothing to do with Cliffjumper.
Given
Laura.
how much Cliffjumper, and the reason we still call them Cliffjumpers,
That's
because
Cliffjumper is a Twitter handle.
Cliffjumper claims to be trans and claims to have transitioned, but has spent a lot of time lying. So I mean, I've never met this person, so I don't even know if they actually are or not.
Yeah, but we know people that do know him that say the same thing. So I don't know what to think, but I mean, I'm fine if she's trans. I really have no idea, but I've never seen her trans, and so I have no image of her to show. And so I'm like, this is who Laura is. But and the other person she mentioned was.
So there was that one, and then we have this one. I'm sure it's about now. He will use anything to fuck with you.
And we had a hunt for that. I have no.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing.
So he had to hunt for it. So he hunted for it and he found it. And yet posted a picture of me as a guy anyway.
There's a reason why Steve posted that picture of Cliffjumper. One, it was the only...
Okay, this is great. Listen to this. This is fantastic. This is the only reason he posted a picture of me as a man is because... And, watch her face. It's like this look of glee where she just makes something up, just honestly invents it. You know, she goes into some ass plucking of, you know, immense proportions, and then watch her face as she says this now. You're gonna love this.
Only picture that he had of her. And two, because you were insinuating, Katie, that he had sexually assaulted her when she was a man.
Yeah.
When did she do that? So, you know, there we go. It's astounding that he goes and that she goes and pulls that out, and Steve goes, yeah, right. Well, those are two different things. It was the only picture I had, and because Katie said that Steve sexually assaulted her when she was a man. Those are two different things. Both can't be true at the same time. So when she invents that, plucks that out of her ass, and Steve agrees with her, one of these two things is not true. The first one, you can say, okay, maybe, why didn't you look? But the second one completely removes anything on that regard. So, like I say, when he says this, why didn't he say, because Katie, Fiona is not attractive, and and Katie said that Katie stated that Steve had sexually harassed Laura when she was a guy. These are not the same thing. So, like I say, they're balls to the wall, nail him in. It's amazing hypocrisy. But this is Steve for you. He complains. He's saying that he's going to block anybody attacking him for terms of service violations, for cyberbullying and harassment. Even though right after he posts it, he continues to harass Katie again. I'm not sticking up for Katie or what Katie says. I'm only showing the hypocrisy of what Steve has said and what he's done. He makes a claim about one thing and says something the opposite. Or says he's going to do this one thing and does the opposite again. Now, there is one of the things I mentioned before. Excuse me. So, one of the things I explained before, or started to talk about before, Steve accused me of using his daughter to attack him, which is not true. All I did was, she had, where was it? I gotta find. Unfortunately, I really should put these in some kind of chronological order. Oh yeah, and this was Steve learning I was trans back in September the 18th to be precise, and in December he posted a picture of me as a guy. But anyway, it's the one where there it is. There we go. So this is the one where he went after Katie's son, because when you haven't got anything new to go after her for, and you're just saying the same thing again and again and again, let's go after her kid instead, because that'll help upset her and hurt her, won't it? So I'm absolutely convinced Katie Joy Paulson uses her son to get sympathy from her fans, and I find it morally repugnant and repulsive. I admit this is my pure and unfiltered opinion, but that I base on my own personal subjectivity. But I stand by it, and I honestly am convinced of it. And so what happened was, it's like, okay, so wait a minute. You're going to make this claim while you've done the same thing. Because I've meant, bear in mind that when I quoted it, I basically said in a tweet, I said, well, you do the same thing. You've done the same thing with your daughter. Used her to get sympathy and or money, for your plight. It was unfair that I got kicked out of the Non Sequitur show. So, I was going to use that money to help my daughter. And you know, and so all I did was I just did a quick search, because if you look, can you see how daughter is all highlighted? So if you go onto Twitter, so I'm gonna have to use this incognito window. So I've got the Explore Twitter, so it's twitter.com/search-events ? So all you have to do is type in daughter and then the accounts. So Steve, is it capital M? Yes, MCRAE _ Right, so there's Steve's channel, and this is just looking for the word daughter. So all I did was hit search, and of course, you know, there's the daughter. So you know, there's Steve using his daughter as a tool to get money out of Kyle. You know, you're stealing money from my daughter, Kyle, which is what he said on that copied video. You know, but that's someone else. You know, so fair enough, stuff like that, perfectly fine. I mean, these are more modern, not recent. But I basically, you know, picked out some of the ones where he used his daughter as a tool. You know, look, between him, Kyle, not for fans I know about, yada yada yada. His daughter wasn't even mentioned till he was booted. What is this about? Is this me? Oh yeah, yeah. So actually, this is the tweet. So it's you know, this is where he was attacking. You know, basically post a picture of her son. I should copy this, you know, but posted a picture of her son. Look, a very happy, normal kid. I really hate involved family, but. She claims he is medically fragile. Clearly not I'm clearly not an MD, and honestly, asking what would make him medically fragile if he's healthy, looking, normal, and talkative. And it's like, you know, even Ocean, you know, people say, come on, don't involve the kids, basically. And so, you know, and so all I did was, you know, it was like, leave the kid out of it, and then it's, you know. Someone has to ask, no offense, Ocean, you have not gotten hundreds of messages and shit I have gotten. I'm asking honest questions about this. She's made it public and Katie lies. People said that she got scammed. She has scammed them out of money for fraudulent GoFundMes. So this is not too far. If you have no idea her history or her prior scams, getting some people from her past to come on her channel, then let me ask my honest questions. Yeah, but none of that is justification for this post. Leave the kid out of it. And so I jumped in. I said, you know, he hates Katie so much, anything is on the table. But then when he realised that Steve probably thinks her as less than human than her kid, her husband, private messages, private Facebook groups, any and all are usable to attack her. He is obsessed. Now, when I said the less than human thing, this is one of the things that's up here. So this is something someone put under his. Now, bear in mind, this Laura is not the same Laura. This is LAUR. Which I seem to remember is that Lily Jean's mum, and she basically referred to Shannon's a different Shannon, but as an it, because she's transgendered. So yeah, So I just noticed this, but Steve, you tried to use Laura's age as an excuse when discussing dehumanising language. Laura's age is not an excuse for calling Shannon an it. She doesn't get a pass because she's older than you. Because she said something bigoted, you know. She called a trans person it. It wasn't me. Different person completely. Oh, sorry. We're not talking about internet proficiency. We're talking about someone referring to another human being dehumanising terms. Social media was simply the setting. Calling people it isn't a hallmark of people that are bad at the internet. Like, imagine if Laura said something legitimately racist. I doubt you'd be making the same case you are, but in this instance you're making an excuse for it. If you're going to bed, lead with a condescending statement. Maybe you don't. Maybe just don't reply. Starting your comment with "if you really struggle with X" doesn't give you an inherent advantage. And so this is the bit. I really don't care if people use dehumanising terms, if you want my honest opinion, as some people are less than human. It is stupid shit. I don't care about it's a stupid shit I don't care about, as you should damn well know. It was not about gender as people claim. Your moral outrage is not mine. Some people are shit, and if someone calls them it, get the fuck over it. Like, seriously, is this what triggers you? What a waste of emotion and time. Not going to waste another second of my time on something so trebly stupid. You know. And this was under, I think that was under the cyberbullying video. But you're talking about cyberbullying, so calling someone an it and making fun of their living situation is considered bullying, correct? So when Lily and Law were called out for the deceptive things, why couldn't they just get over it? So, like I say, when it's the you know, some people are less than human, that was the reference point I was making there. Less than human. Katie needs to be exposed. I don't find bringing children into anything acceptable. I think there's a huge misunderstanding here. I don't think the internet was to pull a child in. Intent, sorry, was to pull a child in. Well, of course it was. It was trying to use her kid to attack her. Oh, she's saying something, you know, to expose how Katie uses her child. Well, you know, and I'm sure that Steve McRae has plus on this or whatever. Also, passion and obsession are very different. I think passion is to expose the lie and manipulate she is. She's hurt many people. Steve wouldn't use a child to hurt her, but would shine the light on how she uses her own child. And I said, yes, he would. He's talking about bringing it up on a video tonight or tomorrow. And as usual, something that complains about Katie he's done himself, in this case, trying to use his daughter to gain sympathy, stroke attention, stroke money. And this is why I posted that link. And if I just go to it's not that one. I need to find it. There it is. Okay, so I can make this one bigger. A bit harder to do that on the tweet itself. But all I did was I went through, put in daughter, and just found examples of Steve using his daughter as leverage to squeeze money out, the money out of Kyle. You know, you're stealing money from my daughter, Kyle. It's basically that. So, you know, dude, Kyle fraudulently took $60,000 plus money from the fans, money from my daughter. We spent thousands of hours taking him to court. You think it is obsessing to find out where the money went for the fans? What the fuck is wrong with you, man? And by the way, notice money for the fans. Well, you know, the fans gave the money voluntarily. No one forced them into it, so it's not stealing money from the fans. They don't get their money back if they don't like what was said afterwards. Anyway, so you're an unethical piece of shit trying to defend someone who took money from my daughter. You're another. Oh, same one. Sorry. It is someone tactically condoning the actions of someone fucking taking money from my goddamn daughter. Jesus fucking Christ, man. The mere fact that this needs to be detailed and explained to you is literally blowing my mind. And then there's another one. Not a fight. Someone took 100% of my monies due to me and my daughter. There is no fight. There is simply ethical considerations here. And then, you know, should be 100% honestly. Anyone involved with non sequitur now, has to, sorry, now to me has questionable ethical standards, as there is no excuse. He has taken money rightfully mine and my daughter's to the most, and most of the atheist community seems to have given him a total pass. Sickening, just sickening. So, like I say, perfect example of Steve. I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples right there of Steve using his daughter to prize money out of Kyle. Now, Steve claimed that I was going after his daughter by this. I was attacking his daughter to upset him or whatever. And it's like, no, I was illustrating Steve's hypocrisy, where he claims that, that Katie is using her son to gain sympathy and or money. And when I do the same thing, Steve has a problem with that. That's hypocrisy. So, yeah, someone's asked for the link for that. Let me stick it in the live chat for you. There you go. So this is this thread. And like I say, he's talking about bringing it up on a video. In the end, the only reason why he didn't bring it up in a video was because he put out a poll and most people said you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't bring in the kid. If you need other people to tell you whether putting an uninvolved child into this, there's something wrong with you. There really is. So, like I say, it's, his daughter wasn't even mentioned until he was booted. Afterwards he used it as leverage against Kyle and sympathy from his fans. But all this stuff here, it's like, oh, that information was private between him and Kyle, not for the fans to know or care about. And yet Steve went and posted loads of times all about it. It was one of the first things he went to. So, I mean, let's have a look. June 2019. That was in in the immediate days after non-sec turned to crap. So let's have a look. Steve replying about me, because of course he has me blocked. He says he doesn't look at me or look at my stuff, or remember, don't watch your videos, don't respond, remove from platforms, won't respond to your comments in any platform except for when he's responding, of course. Not that one. So his daughter wasn't mentioned until he was booted. Yes, that was it. Didn't need to be brought out. Will you call Laura a liar now? Screenshot proves she's lying. You can call me and daughter too. And it's like, I don't even understand where this is. This is proof that daughter wasn't mentioned until it was booted. Now the thing is, he would have to prove that I knew anything that he claimed I hadn't seen, or I'd seen it and knew it wasn't true. I don't know how this actually has any relevance to his daughter at all. I'm guessing that was his daughter trying to call you, but I don't know. But I have no idea how this relates to this. It makes no sense at all. Screenshot, she proves she's lying. You can call my ex and daughter honestly. I think we can approve she meant publicly, but there was no reason for you to make some PSA about what you were doing with your own private money. No assumption. She was very clear on her claim I was using my daughter, and never mentioned until after the Kyle screwed everyone over. she's clearly wrong. She's going to fix it or continue to lie. I mean, this, you know, this kind of mentality is the same as a little child saying, you know, if I close my eyes, they can't see me when playing hide and seek. Because Steve would have to know that I saw something that mentioned his daughter, and that I knew this when I made my previous statement. But even then, not even using his daughter. All I'm using is Steve using his daughter. I don't know her name. I don't know where she lives. I mean, she may not even be in California. I know he's in California. I don't know if she is. I know nothing. I don't know her name. I don't know her age. She's obviously a teenager by the pictures that we saw earlier with his, you know. But that is irrelevant to, you know, like I say, I didn't use his daughter to attack him. I showed an example of his hypocrisy, of him saying, look, she's using her son, you know, Katie's using her son to get sympathy, when Steve used his daughter to get sympathy. Exactly the same thing, you know. I mean, I'm going to ask you the question, okay? Do like Nate Brody does, 1 and 2, okay? So, do you think I was attacking Steve's daughter by using what I said? Using Steve claiming, you know, so pointing out that Steve used his daughter as leverage to attack Kyle. You're stealing money from my daughter, Kyle. Am I attacking his daughter, or am I attacking Steve's hypocrisy? So, put in the number now. So 1, am I attacking Steve? So if I'm attacking Steve, put 1. If I'm showing his hypocrisy, put 2. Just fill up my juice. So hot and I'm a bit dehydrated today. I've only got 2 people watching, which is a bit annoying. I'll just continue because people do watch, they just don't always watch live. So, okay, so Ocean says the accusation that you're using your daughter as a pawn is quite clearly dishonest bullshit. How? How is that? How am I, you know, I mean, let's just put that there. So, when Steve is saying, you know, using his daughter, you know, she's using her son, and my reaction is, you know, that the kid is now on the table, and that, you know, as usual, something complains Katie's done, he's done himself. In this case, using his daughter to gain sympathy, attention, stroke money. And then, where is it? Yeah, it's dishonest. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Ocean didn't really like me very much, but either way, you know, yeah, and I just wanted to see if you were going to be fair. As such, I can try to be fair as well to reach a compromise and figure out a way not to use his actual name. Who the fuck would want to bring the child in? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, the fuck? So, Steve friend, take a breath. I get you're angry right now, but these people, the ones that are using irrelevant arguments, aren't worth it. And it's like, yeah, didn't catch me lying at all. Didn't catch me lying, because what I've said is Steve used his daughter to get sympathy for his plight, and his plight is fair, you know, that Kyle, you know, kicked him out. If it's a 50-50 partnership, they need to resolve it and end it, or, you know, yeah, well, resolve it or end it. So either resolve the situation or end the collaboration. That's it. So yeah, but no, apparently I'm caught lying. Well, sorry, how did I know? What is it I'm lying about? Because I don't even understand what I'm lying about here. It makes no sense. So yeah, I can see people agree with me. It's weird because my concurrent viewers only says 2 here. I wonder. Let me just grab hold of what's it and just see if my live. What does it say? I've got live here. 11. Okay, that's weird. It's a bit bizarre. Anyway, no matter. So, like I say, this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about with Steve. You know, and like I say, in order, he needed someone else's opinion to decide. Well, these are people that are his buddies. So, you know, it really made me chuckle. And of course, not only that, there's also another issue there, which is Steve did something similar about the same time, because there were about like 3 threads going on at the same time, and I think it was through all this, you know, because there's multiple ones. You know, like I say, people are all saying leave the kids out of it. Excuse me. Oh yeah. Scarlet Fiction tell them to fuck off because, you know, it's like, wow, you know. But let's have a look. Like I say, there's just, you know, perhaps stop commenting on him. It's just inviting trouble. Maybe perhaps if she stops talking about him, oh wait. Well, the thing about it is, in the video, all she was doing was saying he was having a good day. You know, because when you've got a kid that's sick, there are times they have good days. And a good day is when they get to go out and look like they're a happy, normal child. So, like I say, it's just utter nonsense. It's like, you know, here it is. It's like, you know, that's not an excuse. I know you're not attacking him, but it's murky territory. I have no choice. I have no choice but to use Katie's son. Katie lies. Katie needs to be exposed. She harms real people. Those are all facts. You know, and this Colossus says, I have no choice. That's bollocks and you know it. Focus on her. Leave the child and her husband out of it. Ignore references to them. They're none of your or anyone else's business. They have made it our business. You are sorely mistaken here. I don't think you have a clue about any of this. It's like, but then why are you commenting as if you don't have a clue? Isn't that the same thing you're saying Katie's doing? Kids are off limits. For him, being as well-rounded as he is, I think a lot of time has been taken with this to improve his social health problems. Questions are not attacking. Really? If I was to ask the question, do you think Steve is a paedophile? Do you think that's kind of attacking? Yes, I would say so. Not making that assertion, by the way. It sounds like attacking to me when a child is involved. I'm not pro-Katie, but this is getting too much. That crosses a line between a mother and a grandmother myself you can't come back from. Ridiculous. These are questions. You know, keep telling yourself that. Maybe people will believe it. I've seen where several several have said you have crossed the line. You may want to listen to them. I know who I'm listening to, and it's not you. Please do not run, as they are, as they with me. It is very disturbing, and you're absolutely have no idea what's going on. Holy fuck, Steve! Do you even English? I'm asking you politely to stop. In other words, just shut up. Don't question me. Don't challenge me. Just accept that I'm the king, and I've decided that he is legitimate territory. He's a legitimate target for my continued harassment of Katie. That's the between the lines. I lost my son and have been talking back and forth with Flossie. As a mother, knowing the pain she has suffered, and it is worse than people imagine. I, just thinking about this, wouldn't want a child brought into this. We haven't talked about this stuff, only her loss. Yeah, it's devastating. No one is bringing any kid into this. Stop running a narrative. The next time you try, and I will block you. I don't have time for this. Yeah. Sorry for your loss, but do not run narrative with me. I'm asking you for the last time. Please stop. No, he's not. He's just telling them. He's telling them, if you don't do what I say, I will block you for questioning me. I won't say any more. I think I've said enough. I just wanted you to understand that as a bereaved mother, really upsets me. I get your side too. I do, but I'm also aware of people she has harmed who also have kids, who fights for those families. You do. You're doing so much for those as she has harmed in the past, in the future. I don't know who this Jane O is. But you can't let it consume you. You need to recharge. It's time for you. All this can't move forward without you taking so much time to just unplug. Saying this because I feel your words and how much stress you're under, trying to inform so many people who go to you with questions. Oh no, I thrive on this. Yes, he thrives on using a child to, using her child to attack Katie. This gives me purpose. This is what I'm good at. Yes, stress, yes, but I'm ex-military. It's in the range we operate most efficiently. Right. So different thing. You lost me on this, Steve. This is too far and not fair on the child. Even if you're right, which is possible, think about what it's doing or will do to the child if you drag them into the public sphere for this debate. Sorry, but these questions are questions people are asking in private, and I am sorry they need to be asked in public. Someone has to take a stand and find out what's going on here. They need to find out whether Katie's son is sick. What the fuck business is it of yours, Steve? Come on. But then again, I suppose private things, private Facebook posts aren't private. So everything, the brand that she uses to wipe her bottom in the morning, that's obviously also on the table. I mean, what the fuck's going to happen next? You know, apparently someone doxed her address last week or earlier this week. You know, what are they going to do? We're going to send someone over to check through the garbage to see what brand they're using. I mean, for crying out loud. Why do they need to be asked in public? These are private avenues. Take those concerned where they're designed to protect the child. If those are failing, then that should be public commentary, so people can answer them. Wow. People are answering you, and you're doing what Katie does, snapping back and being defensive and argumentative. You're being like who you judge. Ironic. I never lied, yet you have scammed, said horrible things about the death of a child, had fraudulent fundraisers. Well, how do you know they're fraudulent? Hey, just like KJ, you're insane. And again, it's always just to dismiss. Shut up, you're just wrong. That's basically his argument. Nuh-uh. Children should not be brought into this drama. As you said, Steve, we aren't MDs, but Katie refers to her son as medically fragile all the time. The video really questions that. I'm not saying he might not have an illness, but he certainly doesn't look fragile. And no, it says 1 out of 2. I don't see the second. She is. We're asking questions. But is it necessary to ask those questions, regardless whether she's telling the truth or not on this? She lies about so many things that can be easily proven without putting a spotlight on a child. And it's hard to prove in any direction. So I'd vote for not focusing on the child, I'm guessing, or them. Those questions are necessary, also would not be asking them. I think that's all we... they weren't necessary, I know what I'm doing here. Okay, hard to tell, but with the context behind the scenes, I personally don't see the necessity yet. But I can live with being proven wrong. Andrea says, Unirock, do you support this line? Steve's going down, because remember, he was friendly with him at the time, I think, or maybe not. Why do I give a fuck what he supports? I do care, that's why I asked. You care about what you don't even know what I'm doing or what I'm asking. You know, oh gosh, this is just bizarre. You know, but you know, it's basically don't like kids being brought into it. We have no choice. Yes, you fucking do, you lying sack of shit. Of course you have choice. You know, Katie has gotten busted and packed her bags, deleted from groups and media platforms, and gone to another group to the exact same thing to play sympathies on people. And so she, you know, he goes into, you know, probably private stuff from somewhere else. But stop it with the kid. I have someone coming on tomorrow to discuss him for a scam, perhaps. These are fair questions that need to be answered. Sorry. The kid has serious issues, including excessive fluid around the brain that causes comorbitism, autism spectrum symptoms. There's plenty to currently go after Katie about. Just say these are questions about past funding, but we refuse to talk about her kid integrity. You don't even know what fundraiser is I'm talking about. Please tell me what I'm referring to with the fundraiser that I'm referring to. I have no idea what that means. Are you calling Katie a liar because she said her son is not autistic? I'm saying that medical issues are complex. If older symptoms of autism, but later find out there's a probable psychological cause, do you no longer fit the spectrum? I've seen photos of him with a feeding tube. The kid is medically fragile. Please move on. He has nothing to do with anything I've asked. Like I say, it's just... And it just kept going on and on. You know. I mean, someone's obviously removed their tweet there. But, you know, like I say, it's just so much stuff. You know, there's the geek room. Keep kids out of it, dude. No matter how much you hate Katie, don't involve anyone's kids. No shit, no one's going after anyone's kid. I didn't say we were going after a kid. I said leave a kid out of it, even if she brings them up. That makes no sense. She brings them up every day with fundraisers. She has scammed many people out of money. Do you not care about the families with children who she's taken money from away from so she can buy a house with the money earmarked for medical bills? Yeah. People are so afraid to talk about things. I am not. That is what I do, talk about shit others turn and run from. Yeah, what it basically means that you're a scumbag. You know, oh, someone got their account suspended. You're right, you're not an MD. I normally agree with most of your positions, but a kid that size using a stroller and whose words and actions seem to be prompted by parents may not be as healthy as you think. I do not understand the daytime fireworks. Yeah. The person I have on tomorrow took a long time to get past things from what I understand. I don't know what it means. James self-standard, the guy we promote on the show and have them on from time to time with Asperger's. He's highly functional. You wouldn't know it by just looking at him. You know, like I say, here we go again. Another person. Leave the kids out of it. You know, and it's like, oh, here was the bit where he calls me a liar. There we go. This is the comical one. So, what was it? There we go. This is the one. So, you mean like Laura just did by using my own daughter as a weapon? And you know, this is my tweet. I just followed it through. Yes, he would. He's talking about bringing it up in a video tonight or tomorrow. And as usual, something he complained Katie's done, he's done himself. In this case, using his daughter to gain sympathy, attention, stroke money. And, you know, I showed the examples. And Steve then tries to say, I'm lying. You know. Well, I'm not. I've quoted examples of him doing exactly that. It's as simple as that. So, like I say, the whole thing all went down, just kept going and going and going all day long. You know. I mean, there you go. What does sick look like? All these children are seriously ill. You cannot dox or make assessments based, or sorry, diagnose maybe, or make assessments based upon this video. And, you know, it just keeps going on. I just, you know, hardly anybody agreed with him on this. Yeah, just keeps going. And like I say, so many people, like, not cool, kids are off limits. Yeah. And this is the one that I did there. You know. And like I say, he was talking about bringing it up on a night. Now, I believe what happened about this time, I haven't seen it yet, but he later said that he changed his mind, he wasn't doing it. And of course, unlike what he thinks I do, I don't look at his every single tweet. I just see one and go, right, okay, let's have a look. Right, and then I just go on with that, and then I respond to people responding to me. Occasionally I'll look and see what Steve said about something, and then go back into just responding what other people are saying. Because of course I can't deal with Steve, you know. Steve doesn't, you know, he'll just talk shit about me from behind a bravery block, of course. So, you know, but you know, what the fuck, dude? Do you not have a single friend or acquaintance who knows a pediatrician? So, a pediatrician, rather. Linking to a vid, asking Twitter, does this kid look sick to you, is really stupid. Not only does it make you look like an arsehole, but it doesn't actually answer your concern. Jesus Christ, no one said that. What the hell's wrong with you? You know, sorry, Steve, but it certainly looks like that's what you're saying to me, too. It isn't okay. It is not. Period. Fair enough. I think what you get, I think that's why you're getting negative responses, though. For what it's worth, I agree with you. If you put your kid's image on online, you have to accept that people will do what they like with it. I don't know. I mean, you know, if I took a picture of Steve's daughter and made it look like he was feeding her a penis. Do you think that would be perfectly fine? No, of course not. I'm just not sure you need the video to ask your question. Ask your question. The issue is what Katie has scammed from people, and that takes difficult questions. I'm willing to ask them to get justice for the family she hurt. Other people here just seem to want to feign moral outrage. Real helpful, thank you. And it baffles me with the he's not a GP. He's not medically trained. He knows nothing other than what Katie's mentioned about his illnesses. Okay? And the effects of the illnesses can be encircling of one main illness. They're aspects of it. So for example, I have Asperger's. I'm a little bit on the clumsy side. Now, is me being clumsy a separate thing from the Asperger's? No, it's a part of it. So many of the factors are a part of the illness that he's got, and he can have a few. Symptomatic of the same, general thing. It's like no, I can't think of it. But Steve, I'm with you that she is as you become, but bring a son to this is questionable. It's enough that she does all the time, and no, honestly, he does not look healthy for me. Please be better than her, at least in that regard. I'm asking what medical fragile entails here. I'm not the only one asking. Someone has to ask these questions in public. If not me, then who will? How about a doctor? And it's none of your business, Steve. But it's like, you're a piece of shit posting this. You're actually putting this out there for people to judge a child, and you say that Katie's bad. What the fuck? You're keeping this going. Let it go. Let it the fuck go and grow up. What is wrong with you? Like I say, that's how it went down. All this, and it just, I don't know. It's like anything. As I said before, anything will do. He was looking for any angle to attack her. And it doesn't matter whether it's a private type of thing. He will use it anyway. Because that's how vicious and that's how obsessed. It's ironic he calls other people obsessed, but actually he's the one obsessed. How many videos has he got? Let's just have a quick look. So, atheism, Steve McRae, Steve McRae's channel. I'm going to put in, I got it. I'm going to put in Katie, K-A-T-I-E, and let's see how many hits. Did that go? Okay, that's not, for some reason that's not going. I don't see, normally you get a wiggly thing. Let's try. Let's go find his channel. That's weird. Okay, let's do it the other way then. This is my live thing. Oops. Why is this not going? Let's try again. Oh, let that go. Okay, this is annoying. Why is it not searching? Let's try again. Okay. The one of last resort. Come on. Okay. It could be slow because I'm streaming. It's weird that I can't. It's not searching though. I mean, I could scroll down them all. I suppose that I can do. Okay. In that case, I'm going to go back to this one then. So I can't do. What's this? Where's this coming from? Is this Stitch? Yes. Bizarrely. Okay. Right, so Control F. Okay, so just Katie and search. So it's 1, 2. Okay, so there's only 2 on this page. In fact, I may have to scroll down, just open up loads of other ones, just the names. I mean, I remember in December last year, if I remember correctly, I made a video about it, but there was 46 hours in 2 weeks of Steve talking about Katie. Okay, so that's fair enough. Look, you can see when I was around and things like that, you know, and you'll find the likes of Dragnaught and people like that as well. Anyway, right, okay, so where was that one? Okay, so that's 1, 2. Don't know why it's showing another one. There's another one. Another one. And you just, they're all over the place. Look, I mean, look at this. You know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's probably got stuff about it in there as well. 7. You know, and that's over a small amount of period. Look, 5 months ago, so 6 months ago. So this would be within a month. And he's got a number of them, you know, and it's just bizarre how much he just talks about her on and on and on and on, you know. There you go, that was that many ones. 20 says at the bottom, 20 matches. So 20 matches with her name in it, not other videos where he's talking about her. So, like I say, that's that, you know, and he says he's not obsessed. Let's just flick it over to his Great Debate Community one. So, let's see how many he's got here. Oh, I need to open up some extra windows first. Okay, year ago, that's enough. Oh look, there she is in, oh no it's not, sorry. That's Irene. So, 1. Oh, it says 3 of 6 matches. So there's 6 videos here with her name involved in it. You know, I mean, it's just bizarre. You know, so yeah. So it's ironic. I'm going to finish now, I think, because I've done enough talking about him. But you know, it's, yeah. When Steve says, where is it? Oh, I've moved off it. But yeah, when he says he's going to block, sorry, he's going to report videos from harassing him, he's trying to silence the critics. You know, I mean, the funny thing about it is, I'm just going to find the picture because it makes sense. Just go wait for the hard drive to wake up. It's around here somewhere. Where is it? A long thin strip. There it is. Yeah, I'll leave you with this, because of course, you know, when it comes down to it, what I've just done is criticism, valid criticism. I have valid reasons for criticising him, valid reasons for criticising his hypocrisy, where he says one thing and does the same thing. He complains about Katie doing one thing and he does the same thing. You know, so yeah, that's me showing it. So, you know, like I say, this isn't the way it works here. He doesn't get to disable the comments because I'm giving commentary here on Steve. He doesn't get to silence me because the commentary I'm giving is based upon my opinion of him. My subjective opinion, yes, but it's still my opinion. And I have justifications for everything I say. So, valid criticism doesn't hide in shadow, Steve. It doesn't hide in shadow. And unlike the comments you can disable there, you can't disable me from commenting on your behaviour as I see it. Now you can call me names. Okay, whatever. Big deal. You know, what are you going to do? Use my transgender status against me again? Oh dear. Well, that just makes you look like an idiot, doesn't it? So, like I say, all this comes down to, you know, Steve is a cyber bully and he's complaining that, you know, he's fed up of people cyberbullying him. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that hypocritical? So, I think it is. So, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you have a nice weekend. The sun is going down here, and it's 9 p.m. and I really should get down to some things. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thumb it up if you like it. Thumb it down if you don't. Leave comments under the video. You know, I'm just giving my opinions, and some of it is old stuff. But of course, he hasn't changed. There's a constant stream of him hating everybody. You look at his channel, and the percentage of it is that person's an idiot, that person's horrible, that person's a troll, you know, that person's doing something bad, from my opinion. So, you know, well, I try not to think in those terms. It's the reason why, you know, when it comes to Twitter, I am on Twitter. It's now being law with underscore between each of the words. And when, you know, when you look at my channel on my Twitter, you'll find a combination of stuff. You'll find positive stuff and some negative stuff as well. You know, when I question, you know, political stuff. I mean, for example, this week We've had the stuff where one of Boris Johnson's, so the Prime Minister's aide, when he was sick, drove 260 miles north of Scotland, despite only 2 days before having started a lockdown where you're supposed to stay at home. Instead, he didn't stay at home. He drove 260 miles while he was sick, putting everybody's safety at risk, his wife, his kids, and anybody he travelled with. Went up to Scotland and also took a drive over to a castle 20 miles away, and then drove back. And and that was supposedly under the guise of wanted to check his eyesight was okay enough to drive back down to London. So, like I say, we've had that kind of stuff going on. It's like, yeah, that's a nonsense argument, because if anybody else did it that wasn't involved in the government, they would resign. If it was an MP that did it, I mean, not only that, we've already had two. There was the I forgot what her name is now, but she was the medical expert with Nicola Sturgeon with the Scottish government. And so it's like, Nicola Sturgeon would give a speech and she'd give a speech about the medical stuff. And then it transpires that she went and, she broke the lockdown rules. And so she ended up resigning from that. Now, that's what people do. So, like I say, that's, that's some negative stuff that I've commented on. A short while ago, I made a video about Donald Trump trying to silence Twitter because they dared to put on a thing that told, that kind of expressed that he was lying, because he doesn't want to be held responsible for his lies. He wants to just be able to lie and not, take responsibility for them. Well, when it's a, when lies are getting told, and it's a public forum that for people to use, but it's still a private company, they have the right to say, no, you can't say those things because they break terms of service, like him threatening, sort of gunfire against people who looted, glorifying in violence, killing type of violence here. So, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So, so yeah, I might put negative stuff on there, but I put a lot of positive stuff there as well. I get involved in road safety stuff, and I +1 people, on trans stuff as well, because they need support as well. For example, trans woman yesterday, she posted a picture of herself at the Brooklands Museum on the steps of Concorde. One of the prototype ones. Was it a prototype? No, I think it was just one of the later ones. Anyway, and she was wearing this great blue dress, and I said, "Oh, I love that blue dress," kind of thing. And so, "Oh, thank you," because in the trans community, Twitter trans community kind of thing, we look after each other, and that's one of the great things to do. So, so when I see Trump trying to silence people, and now we've got Steve trying to silence people, they're birds of a feather. Or bozos of a feather would probably be more like it. I see a lot of similarities with Trump as I see with Steve McRae. In fact, I think the last time I went on his channel to have a discussion, I think that was the last time I actually gave a shit after that. And during the in the discussion, I said that Donald Trump is not a billionaire. I don't think he's a billionaire. And the justification I have for that is because he's up to his ears in debt. Effectively, these Trump hotels and things like that, he doesn't own them as such, because he's leveraged up to the eyeballs in order to pay for it. He doesn't own it. And I try to give an example, and I'll ask you now, do you think a brain surgeon is wealthy? Now, most people would think, well, they live in great houses. They earn a lot of money. They live in great houses. They have great cars, things like that. So, yeah, that sounds wealthy. Well, it's not. Wealthy is when you earn money without working. That's what wealth is, because you don't have to do anything to generate money. So, whereas if you've got a doctor, a brain surgeon or whatever, okay, if he has a car crash and he can't work anymore, how much is he worth now? Because his income was purely based on how much work he did, how many people he operated on. That's what his value is. But if he can't work, then, he doesn't have money. And, this is how the system works. So when, you can say, yes, Trump is a millionaire. No problem with saying that. But when it comes to billionaire, I don't think so. Because, like I say, a lot of these Trump hotels, he doesn't own them. All he does is license out the name. The Trump hotels that he starts to build, and then, well, again, they're leveraged, and they go in, make it sound good, and then pull out. So many of them end up not working as well as they should have done. They end up folding. Why is it that Donald Trump has gone through multiple bankruptcies? Now, that he puts them in different names and things, well, that's the business goes bust. He doesn't. So, as I said, I was explaining that, I don't believe he's a billionaire. And Steve basically tried to silence me and said, yes, he is, because, and I said, no, that's, the amount of money you earn doesn't make you wealthy. Sorry, try again. The amount of money that you can, the amount of debt you can buy doesn't make you wealthy. Because you don't own it yet. It's like, I got a fridge in the back room. I got it on 6 months interest-free credit. I got to pay it off in August. Now, that doesn't really belong to me yet. It only belongs to me when I paid it. And, and this is a similar thing I said about the UK government a couple of weeks ago. They said that they'd achieved getting 100,000 tests done in a day. And it's like, yeah, but you said that, like, I think it was something like crazy, like 40% of them, were postal ones. So they were in the post. The testing kit was in the post. Well, you haven't tested them. It's in the post. Is not having them tested. They're going to be tested, yes. They've been tested, no. Because they'd have had to, do the swab or whatever it is they do, and then put it back in the post and return it, and someone to have tested it to see if it's positive or not. Well, and this is the equivalent of the checks in the post is not the same as paid the bill, is it? So, like I say, this is the example of what I mean. If it's playing around with statistics. So the fact that Donald Trump can raise lots of money doesn't mean to say that he's not a billionaire. And of course, it makes you wonder, why didn't he want to release his taxes? There's two choices there. Number one, he was doing criminal activity. He was taking someone's money and launder it for them or something. Or he's not a billionaire and he doesn't want people to know it. That's an ambulance going by. So, this is the principle I'm trying to talk about. And I'm trying to explain that to Steve, and Steve just tried to shut me down. That was it. He's a billionaire, and I don't want to hear anything about it. Because Steve voted for Trump. But why is that surprising? I wouldn't be at all surprised if Steve has grabbed someone by the pussy as well. He sounds like that kind of person when he makes sexist tweets or makes sexist comments in videos. And, and Steve is really, really lucky because when I mentioned earlier that Steve would made some sexist comments at my friend at the time, Hillary Pugh. And after that, I went looking for sexist comments that he made on G+. And it's a good job G Plus has folded, because I'd find them now, and so many things that he'd said in the past would be exposed today. Because back at the time, you know, we really didn't think about screen grabbing those things because we didn't need them later on. But so what happened was, there was a guy called Isaiah Sloan, and Isaiah had a bit of a thing, shall we say, for women with large bottoms. So on his G Plus, you just have loads of pictures of women with large bottoms, and Steve would be in there making sexist comments, and I had about 30 of them, I think it was. Now, what happened was, you know, we left him, and it's like, you know what, I don't think I need to worry about this anymore. And it only came up a couple of years later, really, that, you know, the shit hit the fan kind of stuff. But when you know, when the whole sexism stuff came out, and I don't, you know, sexually, you know, I'm not a sexist, I don't make those kinds of comments. Well, he did make those comments, and I had, like I say, about 30 or so, maybe 25, maybe 35, 40, something like that. I can't remember. I had quite a lot, shall we say, enough to fill a page, you know, and just screen grabs, just whole loads of them. And it's like, you know, it's a shame I deleted them off that drive, because I realised I didn't need them anymore. If I'd have saved them, you would have seen some of the really perverted shit that he'd say. Honestly, just sickening, you know. So Steve is a sexist. He's a misogynist, and you know, that's who he is. And I've just said, I spent 10 minutes ago, I said I was going to go now, and I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to do it now. So, like I say, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you another time. Bye.